So the New South Wales Blues have announced the appointment of Laurie Daley as the new coach, taking over from Michael Maguire. He was there for one series, he won one series, and then he bounced. Honestly, kudos, Michael Maguire. He ended up picking up a gig with the Broncos, obviously. And with how the Broncos are going, it's definitely going to be a tough ask. But that meant there was a spot open for the New South Wales Blues. Laurie Daley comes in, and honestly, I don't understand it. I really don't. I feel like New South Wales, they've completely lost the plot. And I feel like the media, all of a sudden, like, Laurie Daley is being, like, lauded as this good coach. Like, I don't know if people are remembering the same thing I'm remembering. We were all happy when he got sacked and Brad Fittler came in. It was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, I'm so glad. Laurie Daley had his favourites. He'd pick him no matter what. He just had obsessions with players. I'm looking at guys like, say like a Josh Dugan. Oh, he's not good enough to be the fullback. We have Jared Hayne, we have Tedesco, we have all these other guys. Yeah, let's just chuck him in the centres over actual centres. Guy like Dugan, good player, great player, but he wasn't our best centre. You had a guy like Josh Morris who couldn't get picked, or it was Michael Jennings, one of the two at the time. They were clearly our best centres and they weren't getting picked. He do left field ones. I remember Will Hopewadi getting picked in his first season. Obviously, we saw how Hopewadi's career panned out, but remember him getting picked. Just like random ones. Even guys like Trent Merrin who get picked every season. Now, I know they were good players, but were they the best that New South Wales had? And I know it gets tossed up that, yes, they were up against all these immortals, the best side ever in Queensland, but they did beat them, and they beat them in his very first season, and then he kind of just coasted off that for the rest of it. The performances after that first series, like in 2014 when we won, that was off the back of Ricky Stewart, in my opinion. Ricky Stewart came in, really changed the culture of the Blues, got them believing again after losing a lot of series, and he got really, really close to winning. Laurie Daley comes in, pretty much just picks the same sort of side and gets the job done, and it was a gritty series, and all the players talked about it as being like the toughest series they've ever played in and all that sort of stuff, and then proceeded to just go and get absolutely pounded for the next couple of seasons afterwards until he got sacked. And that's the thing, he got sacked. It's not like he left or he went on to coach NRL. It's not like Maguire, right, who's gone on to coach in the NRL again. Laurie Daley literally got sacked, hasn't coached since, and is now being lauded as a good appointment. I really don't understand. For Queensland perspective, I think it's a great appointment. We saw how long he persisted with Mitchell Pearce, and granted, he wasn't the only coach to do it. In fact, pretty much every New South Wales coach tried out Mitchell Pearce. Laurie Daley just insisted Mitchell Pearce had to be there. The series that they won, Mitchell Pearce didn't play. What does he do the next year? Oh, should we keep the same halves? No, let's bring in Mitchell Pearce again. Let's drop Josh Reynolds. Oh, and let's play Pearce in the number 6, which he's never played. And then to talk about Mitchell Pearce, you also have to talk about the fact that he had this obsession with all the halves had to play at the same club, or have had to have a club combination. So that's why when he picked Trent Hodkinson and Josh Reynolds, he had to pick the Bulldogs halves. He'd always pick the Roosters half, Mitchell Pearce. It always had to be Mitchell Pearce and someone he's played with in the past. Often James Maloney was one. I think Todd Carney was the other one who'd get tossed up quite a bit. It was always just, we need to have a club combination. And that's, like, just so many things were so wrong with Laurie Daley, and it was so good when he got the sack. Like, we should have won so many more series than what we actually did, because Queensland were good and they were dominant, but they were winnable series there. And we did get close a few times, but they definitely were winnable series, and a lot of his team selections were just not it. And I don't expect it to be any different these days. Like, I would not be surprised if you get a guy like James Tedesco come straight back into the side. And even sort of thinking about, Mitchell Moses and Nathan Cleary maybe being the halves combination. Maybe it's just going to be Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary because it has to be a club combination of someone who've played together. I don't know. That's just the things that Laurie Daley sort of brings to the table. He doesn't bring success. He doesn't bring any pedigree. Obviously, he was a great player, did a lot as a player, but as a coach, not good. He's not good. And I'm sick of the argument of he just came up against a really good Queensland side. It's like, yeah, they all did. But he's done nothing since. He won one series. And then Brad Fittler, who also wasn't a good coach, comes straight in and wins the next year. It's just like a case of just revisionist history with Laurie Daley. And I guess he's good with the media and all that sort of stuff. So I guess they're going to look at it as a great appointment in terms of that aspect. But yeah, if I was Queensland, I'd be super thrilled with that appointment. New South Wales, not so much. Surely there were other options. Surely. The fact that, like, straight away Laurie Daley got tossed up, it's like he got sacked for not producing results. And now you're going to bring him back in. Like, why not try someone else? Why not try someone new? It's 3 games a year. You can't really stuff it up too much. However, Laurie Daley constantly did. And that's what I mean. Mitchell Pearce every year. Always having guys like your Trent Merrin on the bench. You also had guys like Aaron Woods with sure things to get picked. All these ones that as soon as he got sacked and they just got rid of like majority of those sort of guys, and then we won. Surprise, surprise. Wow, what a shocker. What a shocker. You had the Dugan thing in the centers. I can live with that because he wasn't terrible, but it's just the fact that, you had a guy like Josh Morris who definitely should have been playing, wasn't playing. Even down to the fact that Robbie Farah was like a guaranteed number 9. You had Ennis there, could have come in a few times. Just decisions like that where he was clearly just picking his favourites and picking and sticking, and more likely picking and hoping that they'd just get a result. Now, by no means does this mean that I think New South Wales are necessarily going to come out and lose. I think they've got a team good enough, and also I feel like it would probably be similar to what we saw when he first took over again. We'll probably come out and win this first series based off Mike Maguire's stuff, and he won't change too much going into it. Then he'll get the one series win, and then that's when he starts making changes and starts doing his little thing. It's what happened to Brad Fittler, probably happened to Laurie Daley as well, I'm assuming. Get the win, and then all of a sudden all his philosophies and all the things that he had wanted to bring to the table, they're just out the window. Like, they just get that little bit of confidence from winning one series, and are like, all right, now we're doing it my way. I think I touched on it earlier, but we use Tedesco and Dylan Edwards as a perfect example here of something that Laurie Daley might do, and it wouldn't shock me if he did it, where, James Tedesco can't make it as the fullback, we'll just chuck him in the centres, or we'll chuck Dylan Edwards in the centres, or we'll chuck him on the wing. We just got to find a spot for them. Like that's kind of what Laurie Daley seems to do. Oh, they're a pretty good player. They're not really good enough to be our actual fullback, but let's just chuck him in the side somewhere. Josh Reynolds is another good example where they picked him on the bench and then didn't even play him. Like, I know that does happen. It's not like out of the realm possibility. It is probably more common now than it was back then. But just the fact that an Origin game and you pick a guy to sit on the bench, like the physicality of Origin and just how, they're always talking about fatigue and stuff, and then you have Josh Reynolds just sit on the bench. Just crazy to me. And honestly, I'm probably missing a whole bunch of things, some weird selections. Was he the guy? No, Jamie Buehler wasn't him, was it? There's probably a lot of players that I've missed, and ones who were just guarantees at the time, and you're like, I don't really know why they're guaranteed to be in this side. They haven't really done anything to do so, but they're here. So if I have missed any, leave it in the comment section below, because I'm intrigued to know. I think I kind of covered the main ones, your Mitchell Pearces, your Josh Dugans, your Trent Merrinch, Aaron Woods, all those guys. I think I covered them. But there is probably some that I'm missing. Like I said, I think he was the one who picked Will Hopewadi in the side. Very strange. Very, very strange. But anyways, still, I think New South Wales will probably end up winning this 2025 series. But I don't think it will come down to great coaching or anything. It'll probably come down to that they got coached well by Maguire, can kind of take it into the next series and then just go from there. But yeah, I really don't like this appointment. Would have liked to have seen them try someone else. And if you want to talk about experience and all that sort of stuff, Laurie Daley had no experience when he got picked. Maybe like City Country or something like that. But in terms of like coaching a club or coaching big games, he hadn't done it. So why do these new guys need to do it as well? That's kind of my logic with it. As for there's, no other candidates and that sort of stuff, that's what I mean. It's a New South Wales gig. I'm sure there's plenty of coaches who would have put their hand up to have a go. It's just they kind of have a weird way. Like I said, Laurie Daley gets sacked and then he gets reappointed despite doing nothing in the meantime. And I tell you what, this does nothing for us with the whole narrative of New South Wales don't get Origin. Doesn't really help us, does it? Well, that's the end of this video. If you happen to enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. You know the drill at this point. Everybody YouTubers says it. Just go ahead and do it. It'd really help me out. Also, why not go ahead and check out some of these other videos that are on the screen right now.